vocabulary close. So we'll continue with the passage today. Right. So this vocab close is actually from our 1200 grammar and vocabulary practice. Right. So just take note that these ebooks are having a sale until tomorrow only. Okay, so up until tomorrow, right? Just make sure that you actually bought your ebooks in time to enjoy the pre-order sale pricing. Okay, hello XNGZ, right? Welcome. Hey there, how was your day going today? I'm doing great. All right, how about you? All right, today is March 27th, right? Almost entering April. Okay, there's a long weekend coming ahead. Right, means no school on Monday. Okay, so let's just, your day is going well. Okay, let's just try to hit at least 1K likes today, right? On our live so that maybe we can, I don't know, we can learn something new together again today. Yes. It's raining on your side. Oh, it is, right? Actually in Tiong Bahru as well, right? So there's like it's really dark over here. Right? The sky is overcast. Okay, so yes. Wow, thank you for liking the live. Yes, so let's just wait for more people to join us before we continue. Okay, so meanwhile, for those of you who are here, right, welcome to the live. Just an introduction again. This is our 1200 grammar and vocabulary practice. Okay, so who will teach after you? Wow, XNGC. Looking forward to the next teacher, is it? Right, next teacher later on will be, let me check for you, it will be teacher Yahweh. Okay, it will be teacher Yahweh later on. Okay, so stay tuned for teacher Yahweh's class later. And yes, let's just see. Anyone else is joining us now? Right, we'll be doing vocabulary close. Hello, Fia. Oh my god, it's been a long time since I've met you in the live. Right, how have you been doing? Right, hello, welcome, welcome. Okay, so we are doing 1200 grammar and vocabulary practice paper, right? So these are MCQs that can drill you, right? Grammar rules as well as vocabulary words for us to learn together. Okay, so stay tuned for this and I hope you take away something new today, right? So every day we are learning something new. Yes. Okay, let's just wait for more people. Okay, so for meanwhile, right, in the meanwhile, let's just look at the first question for today. Okay, so we read the passage together. It was my turn to wash the dishes that night. Unwinding from the day's work, my parents were lounging in the living room, sipping tea and watching television. Meanwhile, my brother had retired to his room. Okay, so the first word we have is retired. Okay, retired to his room. I whistled a tune as I gave the greasy saucepan a good scrub, the bottom charred with stubborn bits of food. Why not inject some fun into such a mundane task? I thought. Setting the timer on the oven, I challenged myself to finish cleaning the saucepan in 3 minutes. I scrubbed relentlessly, my hands nearly giving out from the effort. Shortly after I had completed the task, it had just taken me 2.5 minutes. Surpassing my goal, I pranced around the kitchen but stopped abruptly. The sight of the mountain of plates waiting my attention made me sigh in resignation. Okay, hello WW, right, welcome to the live. Okay, so now we are actually doing this. Are you Miss Uruj? Who is Miss Uruj? Okay, no, WW, unfortunately, right, I am teacher Rin, right, so I don't think we have Miss Uruj over here. As of now, we don't have any teachers called Miss Uruj, right? However, we have teacher Mitsuko, teacher Yahweh, teacher Jia, teacher Jamie's, right, doing our live sessions. Okay, so yes. Right, you may be an old student, are you? WW. Maybe one of our older live attendees. Yeah, no wonder. Okay, so yes, so now we do have new live hosts taking over, right? So I'm glad that you are here, right? So welcome back to Writers at Work. Yes, okay, so this word that we are looking at is retired. We are trying to find a synonym, right? The word that has the closest meaning to retiring to his room. Okay, retired to his room. Okay, so we have to look for an option that has the most similar meaning. Okay, to retired to his room. Okay, question 26. What is the answer? Okay, question 26. Mariah Carey. Okay, hi Mariah Carey Lounge. Yes, the answer is correct. Okay, retired is correct. For question number 26, the answer is withdrawn. Okay, withdrawn. Yes, XNGZ, the answer is 3. Okay, very good. I whistled the tune as I gave the greasy saucepan a good scrub. The bottom charred with stubborn bits of food. Okay, charred. Okay, we are looking at the word charred. Okay, so for charred, right, which of these words have the same meaning as charred? Okay, for the charred bits of food. Okay, charred. For studded, are you sure? Right, X and GZ, you want to try again? Because charred actually has a similar meaning to it being chow ta, you know. If you know what is chow ta, yes. Okay, so the answer is actually burnt. Okay, question 27, answer is burnt. Question 28, why not inject some fun into such a mundane task? Okay, mundane, right? Okay, how do we find the word a synonym to mundane, right? So what does mundane mean? Mundane actually means to be dull and boring. Okay, mundane actually means to be dull and boring. Okay, so tedious, right? Tedious means very difficult. Okay, it doesn't mean that it's dull and boring, right? Daunting, what does daunting mean? Okay, daunting actually means to be quite intimidating, right? So in this case, for something to be daunting, it seems difficult to deal with, right? So intimidating, right? Answer is number 4. Yes. Okay, very good. X and GZ, monotonous task. Okay, so when something is monotonous, right? When your teacher is monotonous, right? They have no tone, so it's monotone, which is why they speak very boringly. Okay, so this is how monotonous sounds like, which it will actually get the students' attention away, right? It actually makes you want to fall asleep because it's so dull and boring if it's monotonous. Therefore, that is the correct answer. Alright, so question 29. Okay, let's go on to question 29. Right, shortly after I had completed the task, it had just taken me 2.5 minutes. Okay, shortly after. Shortly after. Okay, shortly after. Question 29. 1. Very good. In no time. Okay, in no time. So that is shortly after. The synonym of shortly after. Okay, question 30. Surpassing my goal, right? Surpassing my goal. I pranced around the kitchen but stopped abruptly. Okay, so surpassing. Okay, we need to look for a word that is surpassing. Hi, Ariane. Can you help explain what is a bell curve for O level and how it affects my grade? Oh, okay, Ariane. So, are you an O level student? Okay, so for bell curve, right? So actually we would not know how the cohort performs, right? because of the bell curve. You are unable to gauge how well it does. So example being that if many students do very well for a certain subject, right, the A grade would be increased to a higher score. So for example, now A grade is 75, right? To get 75, 75 is A1, or is it A2? I believe 75 is A1, right? So given that 75 is A1, right? If everyone, let's say if there is 80 out of 100 students that scored 75, right? The bell curve would be increased, right? So maybe an A1 would then be 89 marks. Okay, so for a bell curve to work, right, it depends on each batch's performance. Okay, so we are unable to gauge how it will affect your grade unless you are the one who knows how your batch performs, right? So that's how a bell curve actually works, Aryan. Okay, so if you are actually a student who finds that, oh, the O-level paper is very difficult, you are Sec 3 next year, you are taking O-level. I see, Aryan. Okay, so yes, if you are actually a student, maybe after taking the O-levels, right, the whole batch, right, the whole cohort thinks that, wow, this paper is very difficult, right? So it means that the A score would be easier to attain if you actually did well, right? Because they will lower the standards, right? So maybe it will be easy to obtain a B. Please follow Writers at Work if you haven't already followed, and please also LNS to your like and share. Wow. Answer is 3. Okay, yes, Ariane. Okay, I'm glad that you understand how the bell curve works. Right, so bell curve actually is not the same every year. Right, it depends on the performance of students every year. So if your batch is a very strong batch, right, the bell curve will be increased. Right, which is why they say that, oh, if the whole cohort performs poorly, right, that's not very ideal. But if the whole cohort performs poorly, the A grade or the B grade would actually lower to the point that maybe it will be, even if you get 50 marks, you'll get a B, right? So that's how a bell curve will work. Okay, so question 30. Question 30, surpassing. Answer is 3. It's X, N, G, Z. How about moderation? Oh, Fia, right. That's a good question. Right, moderation. What's the difference between moderation and bell curve? Right. So for moderation, you have heard that your teachers will do moderating and um comparing it with a bell curve. So there's actually quite a big difference between these two things, right? So moderation will ensure fairness and consistency in the grading. So they will make adjustment to your grades for variation in marking. So let's say that two teachers, they have different marking techniques. Hi Iguana. So if one class performs like way worse than another class, that class's score will actually be adjusted a bit higher, right? So it will ensure that it's more fair to match the other class. So therefore, for PSLE and O-level, there's actually lesser chance of moderation done. Usually moderation will be done within schools. Okay, so mostly it's by bell curve grading. So it's based on the distribution of students, right? So when you put like a very strict teacher marking this paper, let's say this strict teacher marks the paper and gives the student 50. However, another teacher marks the paper of the same student and she gives them 70 marks instead, right? So by moderating, right, they will actually increase the student's mark to 60 marks to make sure that it's fair. Okay, so that's how moderation is done. Okay, so they want to make sure that, oh, the student doesn't get downgraded because of the teacher. They want to make it fair. So maybe there's several teachers who look through the same piece of paper. Okay, so it's different from bell curve because bell curve is all different teachers marking different papers. Then by how the student performs, that's how they find the bell curve. Okay, so yes, surpassing, exceeding is correct. Okay, so therefore the answer is number 3. Okay, so let's go on to the grammar MCQ. Okay, so yes, question 1. Sophia, right, I hope you understand how moderation works, right? So if you have any further questions about moderation and bell curve, you can feel free to let me know as well. So usually for national exams, they follow the bell curve grading system instead of moderating. Okay, hello Jiale. Very good XNGZ. Congratulations on getting all correct. Right, hi. Okay, so we are actually doing grammar MCQ and grammar close now. Right, so proceeding to this. Okay, so yes, if you are all ready, let's look at question 1 together. Wow, everyone is joining. Hi, Sherlyn. Okay, thank you, Jean, for sharing the live. I hope that it's helpful for you and the people you're sharing it to, right? So this is a practice from our 1200 grammar and vocabulary practice ebook that is on sale now, right? So remember to purchase your ebook if you haven't, because this sale only lasts until tomorrow, right? 28th of March, it will be the last day of the sale, right? You get to enjoy 20% off if you purchase the ebook by tomorrow. Okay, so for the first question, all the laundry blank picked up by the delivery man this morning. Okay, this morning we know that it's past tense. So all the laundry, right? All the laundry, what is the answer for question number 1? Okay, 3 was very good because we grouped them together. Okay, one group. Okay, therefore the correct answer is number 3. Okay, question 2. Ahmad has cleaned up his room. Blank. Ask Madam Rohana. Okay, missing a full stop in the question. Right? So, this is a question tag question. Okay? So, this is a positive and this will be a negative. Right? Because has cleaned up is positive. So, over here, we have to look for a negative one. Right? Hasn't he? Very straightforward because they gave you the question tag already. Okay, hasn't he? Yes, Iguana, that's correct. Question 3. Blank the students need any help with the project? They can approach their teachers. Very good. Okay, so we are looking at a word to replace the word if, right? A more formal word to replace the word if. Okay, we are looking at a more formal word, right? To fill into the blank and replace the word if. Okay, any idea? Okay, if the students need any help. Would the students need any help with the project? They can approach their teachers. Okay, so for this case, would actually translate to will, right? So will the teacher need any help with the project? They can approach their teachers. Sorry, will the students need any help? Right. So for this case, will does not actually fit right into the sentence, right? The sentence structure. Actually, the correct answer is should. Okay. So should the students need any help? Should translates to a more formal way of saying if. Therefore, should will be the answer. Okay. So whenever you are thinking, oh, should I not? So if you do this, right, this will happen, right? So it actually kind of draws a link, right, to each other. Therefore, should you need any help, right, you may look for this person. Okay. Okay, question number 4. The man blank was in the news for helping the elderly is my neighbor. Okay, the man, right, in the news. Okay, something was in the news, right? The man is a person. Therefore, we have to use who. Okay, the man who was in the news for helping the elderly is my neighbor. Okay, given that Julie knew of the situation at the last minute, there was blank. Oh, yeah, Iguana, your answer is 3. Okay, so for this case, question 4, were you referring to question number 4? Or question 5 for your answer to be 3? Oh, you were referring to question 4. Okay, so for question 4, for the condition to use whom, do you remember the condition to use whom? Right? Whom, we have to use a noun. Whom, noun. Okay, so whom comes between two people. Usually, often this is people, right? So the man whom I talked to yesterday, that is when I use whom. The lady whom my mother met at lunch, right, was her old classmate. Okay, so whom, right? Lady, my mother. The man whom I met. Okay, I am a person, right? So this is a case when we use whom. Okay, it's a rule that we follow in grammar. Yes, I hope you get it. Iguana, how about you try telling me a sentence using the word whom? Okay, while we wait for Iguana to try forming a sentence with whom, right? Does anyone else want to try as well? Okay. Um, if not, right, Iguana, is okay. I'm glad that you understand how to form and answer the question already. So keep this in mind for the next time we actually encounter questions like this. You know when and where to use whom. Okay, question number 5. Given that Julie knew of the situation at the last minute, there was blank that she could do. Okay, she knew at the last minute, right? Means it's like very late. Okay, it's very late. I can't think of anything. It's okay, Iguana. Right? Sometimes when you're put on the spot, it's very hard to think on the spot immediately, right? To come up with something. Okay, so slightly tricky. So during oral exams, right, especially PSLE and O-level oral exams, right, when the teacher asks you a question, you have to think on the spot to answer, which is why it's very stressful. To whom did you send the letter? She is someone whom I admire. Wow, XNGZ. Do you take time to type these questions out? Okay, so however, for your second question, second sentence, she is someone I admire. We do not need a whom. Okay, so there are certain times where whom comes in a little extra, right? Because we don't need to direct ourselves to the person. Okay, so question number 5, right? Let's look at question number 5 together. Right, so what would the answer be? Given that Julie knew of the situation at the last minute, there was blank that she could do. Okay, so there was nothing much she can do already because she knew of the lesson at the very last minute. Okay, so what would the answer be for question 5? Okay, WW, do you want to try? Okay, since WW is one of our older students that used to be in our TikTok lives, right? So it's a veteran already. Okay, Iguana says it's 2. There was little that she could do. Very good, because what she can do is uncountable. Okay, uncountable. Okay, because it's uncountable, therefore the answer is little. Okay, because few is countable. Okay, so the answer is number 2. Okay, uncountable. Yay, very good. Okay, good job. Question number 6, right? Blank being exhausted from the long hours of training. The dancers preserve, okay, persevered. Persevered through the final rehearsal and gave their best. Right? So blank being exhausted from the long hours of waiting. Right? 2. Okay. 2. Very good. Despite, right, they still push through. So even though, right, this happened, they still could manage to perform and push through everything. Okay, so question 7. Cause negative and positive. Very good, WW. Okay. Question 7. George confided blank Sally, his best friend, about his problems. Okay, confiding blank someone. This is a very common phrase that we use, right? Confiding blank. So there's a preposition that always comes after confiding. Okay, when you confide, right, means that you are trying to talk about your feelings. When I confide into my friend about my own problems, right, maybe I'm struggling with my maybe a student is struggling with their studies and you're confiding into your teacher, right? Or like when I confide into my friend about a problem that happened between me and another friend, right? So that is how we use confiding. So we confide in someone. Okay, question 7, right? Confiding in someone. Okay, so the answer is actually 1. Okay, it's not confide with, it's confide in. Okay, confiding in someone. Okay, so this is actually a very commonly seen thing. Okay, so please keep this in your mind, right? Whenever you use confide, we use confide in. Okay, it's not with, it's not of, it's not through. Okay, so take note that we use confiding in. So let's say that, oh, I confided in Iguana, right? So I wanted to ask about some of the problems and maybe ask for some advice. Okay, so that's how we really use confide in. Okay, so there are prepositions that come after the word. So there's certain words, right? They must come together with a certain preposition, and this will be tested in many grammar questions. XNGZ, to whom did you send an invitation? Okay, that is correct. She is a colleague with whom I enjoy collaborating. Okay, for sentence number 2, there is a slight error. Right. However, you can just say that she is a colleague I enjoy collaborating with, right? You do not need the with whom. Okay, so I met a man whom I found very knowledgeable. Yes, okay, that is correct. Right. Question 8. Okay, Iguana gave the answer 1. Okay, so I blank the best time of my life right now. Right now, currently. Okay, currently. Squealed little Timmy in excitement as he rode around in his new mini scooter. Okay, so he's actually very happy, right? Exclaiming. WW said it before me. Oh, really? Oh yeah, I missed out the answer. Indeed, it is 1. Very good. Okay, that is correct. Okay, present continuous tense because that is ongoing. Okay, very good. Question number 9. Mrs. Chen saw the colorful bird blank swiftly over the sunlit rooftop. Okay, so colorful bird blank swiftly over the sunlit rooftop. So blank swiftly. Okay, question 9. Question number 9. 1 or 3? How about WW? Let me think. Right. Fly swiftly over or flew swiftly over? Okay, fly or flew. Okay, WW also says 1. Sure, your handwriting is very nice. Oh, really? Okay, thank you so much. Right. I'm trying to write it a little clearer for all of you to see as well. Okay, so why is the answer number 1? Because we include the 5 senses. Once again, right? So this is our 5 senses. Okay, because of our 5 senses, right? We have to find our best friend, which is the base form. Okay, base form. What is the base form of a word? Right? Base form means no S, no ED, no ing. Okay, so this is the base form of words, right? No S, no ED, no ing. Therefore, the answer can only be number 1. So when I say Mrs. Chen heard a sound come from the building, right? So it's a base form because heard is a part of 5 senses, right? So all of us know that know what the five senses are, right? Hopefully. How come got so many emojis suddenly? Let me send one as well. Okay, so maybe this represents how do I actually send this emoji in? Okay, in this form. Yes. Because what? How come suddenly got dancer? Actually, iguana. Is your profile picture also an iguana? I just realized, right? I thought that it was a squirrel at first, but now it looks more like an iguana. Is that your pet? Right? Is that your pet iguana? It's a bearded dragon, I see. Oh, so you actually own a bearded dragon? No, you don't. Sadly. However, you like bearded dragons. No, you also don't like them. Or do you like them? What is the no? No, yeah. Oh, yeah. You like. Sorry, sometimes the comments are quite delayed from my questions. So when I read them, I might actually mistake it. Okay, WW is enjoying this a lot. Right. Just laughing. Okay. Wow. WW is a mysterious person without any profile. Right, it's just empty. However, iguana has a very, very cute little reptile over there. Even though I see it in pictures and I think that it's cute, maybe when I encounter it in real life, I'll actually be a bit scared of it. Right. Lizard. Oh no, not a lizard. Okay, please don't. I saw it before. Wow. So you actually touched it before or you just see it through a glass? I am soon because Ming teenager next year. What do you mean by that? What is Ming? What is because Ming teenager? Typo. It slapped on your hand. That's actually quite scary, isn't it? Right. Aren't you afraid that it will bite? Okay, XNGZ actually typed out all the five senses for all of us. Thank you so much. Right, sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch. Okay, so these are the five senses that you have to take note of when you do grammar questions, and you have to know when we encounter five senses question, right, what belongs in the blank. Okay, what belongs in the blanks? Base form. Right, so base form. Okay, question 10. Wei Ming, blank counseled by the teacher, decided to change for the better. Okay, Wei Ming, blank counseled by the teacher, decided to change for the better. Was. Your answer is was. Okay, what is WW's answer? Wait, no. How about WW? 3. Had been counseled by the teacher. Okay. How about WW then? Let's just wait for everyone to answer. Does WW agree with iguana? WWE. Right. Do students actually watch WWE? Right, it's actually quite scary sometimes. Maybe I'll choose 3. Okay, so all of you agree with number 3. Right, that answer for question 10 is wrong. Okay, the answer is actually number 4. Okay, so why is it having been? Right, it is present continuous because it actually happened in the past and it continues to happen, right? Change for the better. Okay, so his decision, it happened in the past, right? Having been counseled by the teacher, right? He decided to change for the better. Therefore, the answer is number 4, iguana. No. Yes, okay, so it may be a little tricky sometimes when we are looking at tenses for perfect tense and perfect continuous. Okay, so just take note of these little rules that is very essential. Okay, now we move on to grammar close. Right, our favorite part. Okay, grammar close. New Year's Day is celebrated around the world with each culture showcasing its own unique set of traditions. In Taiwan, families gather to write wishes and hopes on sky lanterns, blank releasing them into the night sky. Okay, has anyone been to Taiwan before? Right? Has anyone been to Taiwan before? I believe a lot of people actually have been to Taiwan before. No, sadly. How about WW? Joe, have you been to Taiwan? What's that TW? Taiwan. Oh, have you been to Taiwan? No, unfortunately, I have not visited Taiwan before. Right, so I would actually love to go. How about you, XNGZ? Have you ever been to Taiwan before? Okay, I would want to go and see how it looks like, right? Because always, right, people say that, oh, the street food is very nice. But you said a lot of people go to Taiwan. Yes, right. A lot of people, actually, a lot of students that I have taught, they always tell me, oh, teacher, December holidays, I'm going to Taiwan. June holidays, I'm going to Taiwan. You went 2 times. Yes. You see, XNGZ went twice. Then you yourself never go. Iguana, yes, right. I didn't go to Taiwan. I went to other countries instead. Okay. So X and GZ can share their experience in Taiwan because this passage here is actually talking about New Year's Day in Taiwan. Right. So did you go during New Year's? Right. How about WW? WW is now is missing. Is WW still in the life? Right. Maybe they left. Okay, so over here. Are you planning to go Taiwan this year? Hopefully. Yeah, he is. Oh, okay. So New Year's Day, right? Gather to write wishes and hopes on sky lanterns. So XNGZ, since you have been there before, right? You write the hopes and wishes on sky lanterns, blank releasing them into the night sky. You definitely know which comes first, right? This is the first thing that you do, and then proceed with releasing them. So what would the answer be? Okay, this comes. Okay, so number 2 comes after this, right? So what is the answer for question 11? D, N, or A, across? N or across? Write hopes and wishes on sky lanterns and releasing them to the night sky. Okay, I think there's a better answer for this, right? Both of you did not get the question correct. Please give me an alternative answer, right? That is a more appropriate and more suitable answer that you missed out on. Sad. No, iguana, don't be sad, right? Mistakes are meant for you to learn. Okay, so if you make a mistake, it's time for you to realize and learn from this mistake so you don't make it again next time. Okay, so write wishes and hopes on the sky lanterns into releasing them into the night sky. I don't think we should repeat into, right? I don't think we should repeat the word into. Try again, iguana, try again. Very close already, very close. Okay, iguana, you can do this, I believe. Right, I already give you the sequence, right? So this comes first, then this comes second, right? So we have to do this action, then we do this action, right? So this action comes after this action. So is there any word, right, that we can use to fit into this blank over here, right? By giving the sequence of what happens. Okay, okay, I will just give you the answer for this case, right? So for question 11, the answer is actually G. Okay, before releasing them into the night sky. Okay, write wishes and hopes on the sky lanterns before releasing them into the night sky. Right? Yes, iguana. Do you understand now? Okay, so 1 comes before 2, right? That is why I wrote down the sequence of 1 and 2. Okay, so in Japan, the new year brings families together for the first shrine visit of the year. Families may also engage blank other traditions, such as the first calligraphy writing of the year. Okay, so engage something, right? Engage something. So have you been to Japan before? I've never been to Japan before. Yes, I have actually visited Japan. Okay, Japan is a very beautiful country. Right. I've actually been to Japan several times. How was it? Yes, it's very nice if you visit it in all the seasons. Right. So it depends on which season you would like the most, right? But I like um I personally enjoy winter because you can see snow. Yes, and it's very nice. Did you see the pink trees, the sakura trees, right? Yes, you can catch them during spring. Okay, during the spring season. So if you go to Japan now, right, like today, right, it's possible that you can get to catch some sakura flowers. Today or maybe April and May. I believe it's usually around April and May. Was it cold? It's cold when it's snowing, yes. Okay, it actually can go down to negative degrees. What is Native American tribe? Native American tribes are actually people who live in tribes, right? That is in an area in America. Okay, so for tribes, they are actually a group of people, right? That they belong in they live together, right? They all group together. Like caveman. Oh, similar, but I don't think it is the same as cavemen. However, they belong in tribes, so they have their own culture and practices, right, for tribes. Okay, so there's actually a lot of Native American tribes. They have its own history and culture and their own traditions. So if you see some tribes, right, they have like dancing around the fireplace or something, right? Those are like some practices of tribes. Okay, there's actually quite a lot actually in America. I thought types. What is types? Okay, what do you mean by that? Okay, so tribes actually are quite unique because tribes have their own language and dialects. So sometimes you are unable to talk about. Sorry, you have to leave. Bye bye, WW. Right, I'm glad that you joined the live today. Okay, WW have to leave now. Okay, so there are actually Asian tribes as well, right? Other than American, there's African tribes, South American tribes, Asian tribes, Australian tribes, right? So all of these tribes have live in their own areas and groups that is passed down across generations. Okay, so engage blank other traditions, right? So the answer for question 12 is K. Okay, the answer for question 12 is engaging in. Okay, so engage in is also something that we always use together, right? Engaging in something. Okay, the first calligraphy writing of the year, blank the eating of long noodles for a long life. Okay, so blank the eating of long noodles, right? So for this case, these are two actions, right? So we link them together by using the conjunction called. Okay, we link these two actions together with iguana. Are you sure? We use first calligraphy writing of the year under the eating of long noodles. Okay, yes. Okay, the answer is D. Okay, and is correct. Okay, very good. Okay, D. Question 14. Similarly, among Native American tribes, New Year ceremonies hold spiritual significance. Rituals vary blank tribes, but often involve communal feasting and traditional dances performed, blank roaring bonfires. Yes. So if you look at this, actually these tribes have their own traditions and performances. Right? So for question 14, what would your answer be? What is vary? Okay, so vary means that there's a difference, right? They differ between, like, let's say things may vary in price, right? Vary means it depends, okay? So rituals depend on tribes. Okay, so the meaning of vary actually means like depends, right? A variation, the diversity of something. Okay, a range of something. Okay, so that's vary. Okay, so rituals vary blank tribes. Right, vary blank tribes. So what would the answer be? H. Each tribes. Vary each tribes. Are you sure? We are looking at a conjunction, right? Vary something. A preposition. Sorry. Right, question 14. We are looking at this preposition. Vary. Vary something tribes. Okay? What does this mean? Okay, vary. P. These tribes. No, if you look at a preposition, what does this mean? Right? Something, it's not over, other than over, what does it mean? What would the answer be? Okay, varying. Right, varying across. Yes, okay. So the correct answer is across tribes. Right, across. But often involve communal feasting and traditional dances performed blank roaring bonfires. Okay, performed blank roaring bonfires. Question 15. Okay, performed. So you dance by the fire, right? So people dance and they stand like this. So what is the answer? Okay, yes, the dancing emoji. They dance. Nice statement. Yes, thank you for the praise of my drawing. Right, so dancing around the bonfire. Okay, so the answer for this question is actually E. Right, as the visual representation I have drawn, right, around. So they moved around the bonfire. Okay, so this is the bonfire, if you are unable to tell. Right, this is the fire. I was about to answer. It's okay, right? So try to answer the next question, right? So these ceremonies serve not only to welcome the new year, but to blank strengthen and deepen their long ancestral connection. Okay, not only. Okay, not only, but something. These correlative conjunctions, right? Not only, but something. Okay, thank you for sharing the live iguana. Right, you're sharing to a lot of your friends, is it? Okay, not only, but to blank. Okay, not only, but to blank. Hello, I'm a toe. You're spamming one person. Hello, toe. Right, why are you a toe? But Yes, would you like to try answering question 16? Yes, why are you laughing? Is that your friend? Is To your friend? No, To is not your friend. But oh, you DK To. Okay. Right. Thank you for sharing the live video as well, To. Right. I hope that this is helpful for you. So question 16, right? But to blank strengthen and deepen their long ancestral connection. Okay, so not only but to blank. Right. So we have not only and but something. Okay, so for the case of question 16, what would the answer be? Right. Not only but also, yes. Okay. So the answer is is option C. Okay, but also. Okay, but to also strengthen and deepen their long ancestral connection to blank land they have inhabited for centuries. Okay, and deepen the long ancestral connection. Cancel out G. Oh, oops, I did not cancel G. Okay, so yes, G over here. Question 17. Right. And deepen their long ancestral connection to blank land they have inhabited for centuries. H. Question 17. Are you sure it's H? Okay, to blank land. Is it to each land they have inhabited or to the land? Okay, the answer is actually the land. Oh no, closed on me. Yes, okay, so it's the land they have inhabited. Okay, not each land, because each land it might mean that they have actually inhabited different pieces of land, which is not the correct answer. Okay, so it's okay, iguana, right? I believe that there's a lot of students who struggle with grammar close as well, right? So by doing practices with us online, right, it's actually drilling you to improve, right, more on your grammar. Okay. Question 18. In Spain, New Year's Eve is a vibrant affair marked by lively street parties and family gatherings. Blank midnight approaches. Tradition dictates eating 12 grapes. Okay, blank midnight approaches. Okay, blank midnight approaches. Back. What is back? Okay, blank midnight approaches. Okay, blank midnight approaches. I left just now. Oh, so you left for a moment and you came back. It's okay. Right, so question 18, what will the answer be? Hi, Moonlight. Welcome back. Moonlight. Okay, we are actually still on grammar close. Right. So, after midnight approaches. Are you sure it's after? Are you sure, Iguana? Are you sure it's B? Okay, try again. Try again. No, you're not sure. Very good. Okay, so now I give you a second chance. Okay, let's try to get the answer correct. Okay, question 18. P. These midnight approaches. Are you sure? P actually represents for plural form. However, midnight is not plural. Okay, would you like to try again? Okay, dancer iguana. Then W. Q. Under midnight approaches. You accidentally tapped W. However, under midnight approaches, that's not the right preposition we use, right? So The correct answer is actually F, right? As midnight approaches. Okay, as midnight approaches, right? Tradition dictates eating 12 grapes. Okay, as midnight approaches. Yes, okay, so as the sun sets, as the day turns dark, right? As midnight approaches. I didn't even see the S. Oh, is it a bit small? I can zoom in for you later on. Okay, so blank stroke of the clock symbolizing good luck for 12 months ahead. Okay, so tradition dictates eating 12 grapes, one for blank stroke of the clock, symbolizing good luck for 12 months ahead. Okay, one for blank stroke of the clock. So blank stroke of the clock, right? Every single stroke of the clock. So which of these is correct? Q. Understroke of the clock. Are you sure, Iguana? Are you sure the answer is Q? What's the sentence again? Okay. Eating 12 grapes, one for blank stroke of the clock. Okay, one for blank stroke of the clock. H, yes, okay, one for each stroke of the clock is correct. Okay, each stroke of the clock. Oh my god. Yes, each is correct. Okay, so let's write down. Okay, from the colorful festivals of Taiwan to the solemn ceremonies of Native American tribes, blank celebrations showcase how humans bid farewell to the old and embrace the new. Okay, celebrations. So we are referring to the celebrations that we have talked about, right? So blank. Our celebrations. Are you sure? Are you sure it's our celebrations? Showcase how humans. It's not referring to all of us, is it? Because our refers to all of us that we celebrate the same way. However, we are referring to only the celebrations that has been brought up in this story over here. Okay, so the correct answer is actually these celebrations. Okay, question 20 is actually these celebrations. Okay, these celebrations. Okay, these celebrations. Okay, therefore the answer is these celebrations. P. Okay, and that is all for grammar close. Right, that is all for grammar close. Mariah joined. Hi Mariah Carey, welcome back. Right, so we are going on to vocabulary now. Right, vocabulary. Okay, so question 21. Hi, Starlight Whisper. Wow, welcome to the live, everyone. Okay, so we are at vocabulary right now, right? Okay, so let's look at the first question for today of vocabulary for this practice. Okay, not today. Okay, the weather service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning and cautioned the visibility on the roads is going to be blank. Okay, the visibility, right, means that the ability for you to see. Ability for you to see. Okay, is going to be recoiled. Are you sure it's recoiled? Receded. Yes. Okay, so the correct answer for this case is receded. 5. Iguana, there's no option 5 over here. Okay, there's only 4 options. So The correct answer is actually number 2, receded. Okay, receded means to actually reduce, right? Decrease. So visibility is receded, decrease visibility. Okay, so therefore the answer for this question is number 2. So what does recoil mean? Okay, what does recoil mean? Okay, does anyone know what recoil means? Okay, recoil actually means to be movement backwards, right? Sometimes we say that, oh, he recoiled upon hearing a loud sound, right? So that's recoiling. Okay, so question 22. Siti and Mary were best friends, but they blanked last week because of a huge misunderstanding. Okay, so this is phrasal verbs, right? Phrasal verbs. Okay, phrasal verbs. To be a movement backwards, sometimes you say, oh, he recoiled back. Okay. We do not need a back behind the recoil, okay? We can just say, oh, he recoiled. Okay, question 22, right? But they blanked last week because of a huge misunderstanding, right? There's a huge misunderstanding. You copied my answer. Okay, yes. Right? So recoiling is shock or a movement, a retreat, right? Okay, so fell over last week. Iguana, are you sure that the answer is fell over? Okay, are you sure about your answer? Or are you unsure about your answer? Is it fell over or is it not fell over? Okay, fell over actually means to lose your balance, right? This means to just fall down. Okay, lose balance. Okay, fell apart. Something fell apart. It means to break, right? Okay, so Sam 15. Okay, Sam 15 says that the answer is fell apart. Okay, for something to fall apart, right, it means to actually be broken into pieces. Okay, so let's say that, oh, something fell apart, or someone's marriage, right, fell apart, right? Or we can also say that breaking down, right, fell apart, the heart, right, the feeling. Okay, so we are at question 22. So the answer for this case is actually number 2, fell out. Okay, fell out because of an argument, right? It means to break the friendship, to not be friends anymore. So if you actually have any like friends that you actually had a big fight with, right? Then the next time you walk past them, you are not friends anymore. Okay, so that means that you have fell out with a friend. Okay, Starlight Whisper, yes, that is correct. Iguana, yes, I'm at question 23 now. Okay, so let's do question 23 now together. Right, Geraldine is well known to be someone who is blank on her feet to come up with solutions within a short time. Okay, well known to be someone who is blank on her feet. Right, something on her feet. Okay, swift on her feet. Okay, this is actually a very common phrase, right? Something on her feet, right? You have to think on the spot and be fast, right? So it is quick on her feet. Okay, so the answer is actually number 3, okay? Quick on her feet. Okay, question 24. The smell from the rubbish bin was so blank that Alan vomited after he walked past it. Okay, so the rubbish bin, right? The smell was so something that Alan vomited after he walked past it. Intensive. 6. Wow, since when was there an option 6? Okay, severe. Okay, a smell, right? Vomiting after you walk past it. So when something is actually so bad and it makes you feel like puking, right? It's actually too much for you to handle. Too much to handle. So the answer is actually number 4. Yes, overwhelming, right? Too much to handle. Too much to handle. Okay, therefore, Ellen vomited. Okay, vomiting. This is the vomit. Yes, okay, so it's too overwhelming. Okay, question 25, right? Vocab MCQ, question 5. So the pirates entered Singapore illegally and will be blanked to their home country next week. Okay, so since they entered illegally, right, so we have to send them back, right? So what is the answer? Deported. Wow, okay, very confident answer. That is correct, right? Starlight as well. Okay, Starlight Whisper, that is correct. The answer is deported to their home country next week. Okay, deported to their home country next week. Okay, next. Question 26. According to the World Economic Forum, only 14% of plastic packaging is collected for recycling. Plastics often become soiled with food waste. Che, are you tired? Why? Why do you ask that, Iguana? Do you feel tired now? Right, it's 5 p.m. Almost dinner time, right? Just asking. That's nice of you. So thank you for asking and checking in, right? I'm okay. I'm fine. Right, so let's continue with question 26. Okay. Iguana, are you okay? Right. If you are feeling tired, you should take a break from your phone, go and look out the window, admire the scenery from your house, right? Okay, sometimes you can actually observe something nice, right? Maybe nice clouds in the sky or listen to some music. No, you're fine. Dancing. Iguana, are you a dancer? You seem to like using the dancing emoji a lot. Okay, so Starlight Whisper, become soiled with food waste, right? Soiled. Okay, so Starlight Whisper's answer is correct. Okay, contaminated with food waste. Iguana, you're a soccer player. Wow. So you enjoy playing football. That means you must be a good player, right? Yes. Is that your CCA? Maybe. Is is that your CCA? Is playing football your CCA? Yes, I see. It is. Oh, I see. Okay, question 27. As a result, the majority of plastics end up either incinerated or disposed of in landfills. Okay, disposed of. Okay, disposed of in landfills. Okay, disposed of in landfills, right? We throw them away. Is it dismantle? Okay, discarded them. Yes, okay, discard them. Okay, we discard them. Okay, that is what disposed of means. Okay, so question 28. Many companies turning to innovate solutions such as reusable packaging. Okay, innovative, right? Innovative. Innovative. Iguana, you're very thirsty. Oh, go and get your water bottle, right? Remember to drink water. Okay? Innovative. Okay, question 28. No, I can't. Oh, sadly, is it because you are fasting? I see. It's okay, right? Just a while more, right? Just a few more hours. Okay? So you have to hold it out. Just try not to speak. Try not to try to breathe with your nose instead of your mouth. Right? It actually helps, right, to make you less thirsty. Okay, Starlight Whisper says 1. Creative. 3 more days till Hari Raya. Yes, right. So you get a holiday, okay, to celebrate and visit your relatives. Question 28, Starlight Whisper says that the answer is 1. Yes, okay, creative, right? Innovative is creative. Okay, number 1. Okay, question 28 is number 1. Okay, question 29. A famous coffee chain is actively working to reduce its reliance on disposable cups. Okay, reliance. Okay, it's reliance, right? Reliance. Okay, it's reliance on disposable cups. Okay, when you rely on something a lot, it means that do you trust something a lot? Do you certain something a lot? Do you assure something a lot? Or do you depend on something a lot? Right? Reliance, when you rely on something. Okay, Starlight Whisper's answer is correct. Okay, reliance actually tallies to dependence. Jo, have you tried the Dubai chocolate before? Yes, iguana, actually I did. Right, I actually went to Dubai last year and I managed to try the pistachio and kunafa chocolate. It's really good, yes. Question 30, right? Question 30. So the company has announced plans to phase out single-use cups by 2025. Okay, phase out, right? Phase out actually means that you take a long time to slowly remove something, right? Take a long time to remove something. Pistachio is so nice. Yes, I love pistachios as well. And the kunafa makes it very, very crunchy. So it's very nice. Right, iguana says 4, eliminate gradually. Okay, question 30, the answer is correct. Okay, eliminate gradually. Very good. Okay, it means to take a long time to slowly just remove it. Right? Okay. Yes. Okay, so that will be all for the live today. Right? Thank you so much for joining our live session. Right? I hope you actually learned something new today. Okay, so next will be Teacher Yahweh's lesson, right? And he will be taking over and going through let me see what he'll be going through. He'll be going through 2024 CHIJ St. Nicholas end of year paper. Right? So yes, thank you for joining, Iguana. Bye bye. See you. Okay? So Happy New Year to you, right? Okay, just 3 more days till Hari Raya. You can eat all the good food you want. Okay, Starlight Whisper, thank you for joining the live, right? Okay, see you. Bye bye.